If you were to ask me as a kid what my ideal life would look like, I would answer a life without problems. I had this fantasy that life could be perfect, a place where no conflict was needed. Maybe I was so afraid of problems because as a kid, problems meant fighting and it meant me being sad, or the feeling that problems jeopardized my sense of security and comfortableness. And that's how I went through a big part of my life. My first desire to improve my life came because of my fantasy of a life without problems. Wanting to improve my body came as a need to secure the perfect health, or being more productive became a need to secure perfect grades. And this went on and on until I read The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck when I was 16 or 17 years old. I've read the book so long ago that the only sentence I remember from it is, "Problems never stop. They merely get exchanged and or upgraded." The explanations that Mark gives in his book are great, and this changed my belief from life could be a place without problems, from life will always have problems and they might just get better, which I think it's better than the naive idea of a life without problems, because it was just a key for disappointment. But I started to feel okay with the feeling of necessarily having problems in my life. So I used to worry a lot from my university exams, but when I got a new job, I was constantly thinking about all of the things that I had to do in my new job. So university exams didn't seem so stressful and menacing, and worrying if this video was going to be successful or not instantly was replaced by the need to look for a way to monetize my channel. So making videos didn't seem so bad. But every single problem regarding my studies, my job, my channel, my business instantly were replaced when I thought I had a health condition. When my survival was at stake, I didn't think about all of these superficial problems of university, my job, or my business. No problem was this bad as the one that I had to solve right now. So this happened in September, and September went by, and I thank God that it was nothing. I took the doubt and I solved the problem, and it was nothing. And I was finally okay, but this kind of relaxed state only lasted a week. My mind found another health issue to worry about and constantly ruminate throughout my day about this particular thing, even though the evidence that I had that it was something was nothing. And again, a feeling of anxiety and stress invaded my life completely. But I thought that life was supposed to have problems. If my university problems didn't seem as bad, if my business problems didn't seem as bad, if my job problems didn't seem as bad, so then I should have a bigger problem to worry about, because life was supposed to be filled with problems. It was the 20th of October, and I needed to let go of some stress, so I grabbed my journal and wrote a journal that I titled "The Things That Limit Me and My Infinite Potential." Because yes, I put a title to my private journals, and I recommend it a lot. I was writing about this need that my mind had of creating new problems, even when there were no evidence of new problems. So when my life was problem-free, my mind would create or attract new problems. And then I had a kind of revelation where I had a glimpse of what my life would look like if I continuously repeated the same pattern, the same mindset. Constant stress, fight or flight mode, anxiety, like I was fucking terrified. But then I don't know if it was God, the universe, or some divine association, that I had the following realization: there will always be things to correct or to work on, but that's what this is about: doing, seeing what happens, learning from it, and moving on. Problems are just your mind interpretation of what it is. If you stopped thinking for 1 second, you would realize that it's just a situation that needs your attention to be solved. The circumstances are always temporary. Problems don't really exist, only situations to resolve. And perhaps your long-standing wish for a life without problems was a matter of internal perception, not of a life without challenging situations. And this journal that I wrote changed my life forever. Because when you take all of the pressure and potential that your mind puts into this situation to solve, you realize that this situation is much simpler than you thought. And maybe you just need a couple of steps to solve this problem. If that problem isn't as easy to solve, generally you can feel a little bit more lightened. Like there is no such burden of your mind of, I have this problem, I have to solve it, or what about what this person thinks, or what about this thing if it happens in my life. So when you change the mindset, if the problem doesn't solve itself, you realize that it wasn't as bad as you thought, and you can accept it better and act on it. And of course that life isn't problem-free, or else we wouldn't have situations to grow and expose ourselves to new challenges. But this doesn't mean that you should actively seek for new problems because life is hard and it's supposed to be filled with problems. Just take away the labels that your mind puts to things and just go with the flow. When you surrender to the now, you realize that your problems were just an illusion. Bye-bye.